Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather.
with Women in Leadership. Hello and good morning. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and welcome to At the Table.
Good. And it's Mindset Monday.
And we love to kick off the week deciding and choosing how we're going to show up.
And if you tuned in yesterday, I read both chapters of the books that we're covering right now, which is The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz and Career Self-Care by Minda Zetlin. And these are awesome.
So you won't be surprised by the topic.
Right?
Because you listened yesterday.
Right.
You ready?
Ready?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. All right. Let's do it.
Yeah. We did that when we were talking about this
she goes,
a few minutes ago.
She was like, that just aged us, didn't
it? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
So this week, chapter 8 in The Mastery of Love is sex, the biggest demon in hell. And guess what? It really has nothing to do with sex.
Yeah.
Right? Sex isn't the demon, right?
It's this mind game.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I broke out into Rocky Horror Picture Show, right?
Right.
It's a mind twist.
Right. And so it's what we believe about sex and what we believe about ourselves about sex.
Yeah.
And how it's like all this big, we make it this big drama that it doesn't have to be. It talks about any place else in the world, any other species on the planet, sex is procreation. It's not, it doesn't really become a thing, right?
Right.
It's not a big drama. It's, it's not really a thing. You procreate and you move on.
We got to see wild horses trying to procreate. It was
interesting. But
they weren't like shameful or trying to hide it, or there was none of these rules associated with it.
Right. So the example that they use in the book is like, imagine you are a Catholic and you're married, or you were raised Catholic, and all those beliefs about marriage and what it means to have sex for the first time, and what that should look like and things like that. Notice I keep saying should, right? Because this is like society's ideal, right? How this, or the Catholic society's ideal of what this should look like. But maybe
I love how this plays in with the next book and the whole topic of the next chapter we're talking about.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, okay. So sorry. We'll get there.
You find that you are attracted to another man who is not your husband.
And then how you react to yourself about that.
And how it can perpetuate the problem, right? Is how you react to it. Because if, they're attractive, that's nice, and then you move on, that's one thing. But if you're like, it's a nice looking guy, I want to get to know them, and I wonder if they like me, I wonder if they notice me, you get in your head this whole story, and it ends up causing you pain because you
manifest the things that you think about, right?
And then it's about being in your head about the shame and the guilt and things like that. It's not.
That's where I was like, thought you were going. So I was like, because that is one way. That's one rabbit hole, right? And spiral you can go down. And another one is like to judge yourself for even having that feeling. Like, well, I'm not even supposed to have that kind of reaction.
I'm not supposed to be attractive to other guys because I'm married, right? And me and my husband, we talk about this all the time, and we tell each other when we find that somebody walking down the street, or that we come across is an attractive person, we like, that is a good looking person, and he will tell me the same thing, you know, she's beautiful or whatever. And I feel like it takes the edge off of like what might they think about me thinking somebody else looks handsome or something like
because
that.
you have
How does he
the
judge
conversation.
himself? We have the
Yeah.
conversation.
I used to ask, like, could you tell me like what my butt looks like when you see someone's butt that looks like mine, so I could know. Because then that helped me to feel more beautiful, because be like, oh, well, it's a nice butt, you know, because you can appreciate it, right? Like, and so then that helped me to know myself better and what I actually look like instead of what I think I look like, which is kind of
what you look like through their eyes, right? Yeah, and
oh, that's good.
Judging yourself about what you look like on the outside is like this goes really, really well along with what we talk about in Serious Self-Care this week, because it's about judging your sexual self, right? And one of the really good parts of this particular chapter of The Mastery of Love is when they talk about the need of the body versus the need of the mind.
I love this. Your mind and your body have completely different needs.
Your mind. Okay, so what you tell yourself, your beliefs,
what's up
here, has completely different needs than your body.
Than our physical being. So there's physical needs, like food, water, shelter, right? The basic needs. And then that includes sleep and sex. Like the physical body wants to reproduce. So when someone is attractive to us, we have a reaction.
Right. And it's not wrong that you have a reaction. It's how you react to the reaction.
Right. So do you take yourself down that shame road? So now you're thinking about it all the time. Now you're like, well, what if I acted on this? Or now you're judging yourself before
anything.
There was absolutely no reason to even go down that road.
Right.
Boom. Like just realizing that you can control the story that you're telling yourself. So understanding these are my body's physical needs. My mental needs are, and that's what we really get into. The part that we're really looking for, especially as women. And I don't think it's just women. No. I think in general. Like
what are our mental needs that aren't being met?
Yes. And I think it happens for men too. And I think that we should talk about that too. Like when we're going through and learning about these things and we share that with our partners, it's going to be, you can share and grow together, like have these conversations together and don't just like all of a sudden be a different person. Like, right. A little scary.
And you can use these conversations about what you find attractive and things like that in a positive way with your partner to let them know how you appreciate them as well. And you could also be like, hey, I saw a bunch of hot people today, so I'm gonna go home and rip your clothes off now. Okay. Right. It's all in how you deal with it.
I love it. That's awesome. So we need to give the body the freedom from the tyranny that is the mind. I was like, that's powerful. We no longer have the need for food in our mind. So if we separate that, right, the body's need is not from the mind. That's a lot, right? That sentence is huge. Like that's emotional eating. That's
addiction. That's a lot of things.
That was a lot. It just came out my mouth. I was like, wow, okay. I'm holding on, Charlie. That's a deep one. Whoa. Ooh. Okay.
And then it finishes out the chapter with this. You are life passing through your body, passing through your mind, passing through your soul. Once you find out, not with logic, not with the intellect, but because you can feel that life, you find out that you are the force that makes the flowers open and close, that makes the hummingbird fly from flower to flower. You find out that you are in every tree, you are in every animal, vegetable, and rock. You are the force that moves the wind and breathes through your body. The whole universe is a living being that is moved by that force, and that is what you are. You are life.
So just like, let's take a deep breath and
Feel that.
that was a lot. That was a lot. And I love how we're going to transition now into the career self-care.
Yeah.
And we're talking about
how to thrive, or at least survive, in an unequal world. We know as women, as entrepreneurs, as women in general, that we're not treated equally as much as, you know, they try to say that we do. There's statistics and science that proves that we're not.
Well, and we've had experience.
And we've had experience.
Like, we just know. Like, seriously.
We know.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
I've seen a whole spectrum and gamut of the way people are treated, or the reaction to and trying to heal, but not understanding where we're at now, coming from where we truly are before we try to play the role that we're not. Wow. Well, let's use some actual words.
I know what you're trying to say.
I saw and experienced a lot of what I now know as wounded masculine energy. I'm not saying that's a man is bad. I'm saying that we all need to have male and female energy. It's balance. It's part of, like, this is a lot of growth. Like, this is a lot. So this is a big bomb if you've never opened your mind to thinking like this. So this energy that is very wounded masculine, that is called out on the crap. So that energy of the narcissist, which we talked about last week, right? That energy is very wounded masculine. And then you can go to femininity on the pendulum way over, right? But what we're looking to do is to heal those wounds and our female wounded energy, and to be healed. So in order to do that, we need to really acknowledge some of these things, because what she was talking about in the book was that it's slowing down the wage gap. Closing the gap is slowing down, because we're being gaslit again, that it's not a thing, right? We need to be aware even more, because it's like that question the universe asks: are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah, we're sure.
Are you sure? Yes, we're sure.
We're
we are grounded, decided, and aware. We are sure.
I like this the section in here where she talks about this interview with Dustin Hoffman about his role as Dorothy or Michael, the out of work actor, and he basically turned himself into a female in order to get a role, and in this movie Tootsie, and how when he got it, when he experienced that on set as a woman, being transformed into a woman, he went home and had a conversation with his wife about the gender disparity and things like that, because the scene was he's told by the director, Tootsie Take 10. And he says, "My name is Dorothy. It's not Tootsie or Toots or Sweetie or Honey or Doll." Then men in the cast always addressed by their names, she says. "I have a name too. It's Dorothy. Capital DORTHY, Dorothy." And later on, she tells the story of how she kind of used this to her advantage to get somebody to shut their hole, not say anything, because she ordered business cards, and she picked a very professional sans serif font and all this stuff. And when she went to pick up her business cards, they put it in some kind of script that you would expect to see in a wedding invitation. And she's like, "No, you need to fix that." And they were like calling her honey and sweetie and all those things. And so she responded in kind with the same attitude: "Sweetheart, dearie, darling, honey pie, you're gonna fix it." And they fixed it and didn't say another word to her. She turned it around on them, right? And so what I really got out of this chapter is to stand in our feminine power and let them know, when they respond to us in these kinds of ways where it demeans our femininity, that we stand in our feminine power and not accept that. Be like, "Nope, that's your trash. You keep that."
I love it. Just pick it back up and be like, "That's yours. Thank you."
And I found it really interesting, the stories that they shared from the Obama White House era, right?
Yes.
And how Michelle Obama helped the women working in the White House be more valued, but also they formed a pact, because they would put out ideas and then the guys would shoot them down, and then 5 minutes later somebody would come back with the same idea but rephrased or whatever, and they'll be like, "Yeah, it's a great idea," right? We've all heard and something like that, right? So they weren't being valued, so the women in the group made a pact to back each other up,
right,
and repeat the thing back and things like that. So
and get it said more than one time, because even in sales right now, things need to be seen 18 or plus more times. And just like that, having more than one woman stand up and say the same thing, it's that banding together,
right? But then it was then they would get the credit for saying it first instead of the guy who said it 5 minutes later. Right. So that's just one way, even in our own White House, that women were being treated as less than because they're female.
And I don't think it's coming from a malicious place.
No, it's coming from habit.
It's a habit. It's like our culture. It was culturally done to us. It was the story of everything around, growing up. So it's not like someone's maliciously, there are those assholes. Right. But in general, this is a cultural issue, and that's why it's important that we talk about it.
And that we speak out against it, because they're not going to change their habits unless there's a reason for them to change the habit, right? If they're not getting any resistance, they're going to keep doing the thing. But for years, we were told, right?
Don't air your
That's
laundry
not feminine. That's too aggressive.
Don't air your laundry out.
Don't air your laundry out. Right?
Because they wanted to control the narrative, and that entire created an oppression that's just part of the culture that we're trying to make that shift in.
Right. And
it equates to ageism, everything. We have to stand up for it.
Yeah. And
the list is going in my head, of all the things that applies to, right? as women, we have culturally been pitted against each other using that wounded masculine energy that we
you're
thought,
too aggressive, you're a bitch.
right?
Yeah.
And then we were judging each other based on that wounded masculine energy.
Right. And we're like, no more.
No
more. No more judging, no more.
No.
And what I found really interesting was she's got a lot of facts in here about what's happened through the pandemic with women in leadership roles and things like that. So many women had to take a step back because, you can't, be your kid's school and childcare and work full time as an executive. Or whatever.
Well, not in any traditional sense of what that looks like.
No.
So,
and then, balancing, I have enough hours in the day for my kids and their care needs. I don't have enough hours in the day to also work because they require so much of my attention because, well, the world's shut down and somebody's got to school them and somebody's got to make sure they're fed and things like that because I can't pay and send them to daycare. I can't, send them to school,
So we reinvented ourselves during this time.
Yeah.
And this is part of that reinvention. We read and grew and had conversations.
Got a lot of stuff about the gender pay gap. But then she's got a couple little sections in here for the end of the chapter. The first one, don't assume you're getting fair treatment. Don't assume you're getting fair treatment or excuse yourself out of believing that you're being treated fair. Right? Oh, they get paid more than I do because they have more qualifications, because they're, whatever.
Like all the excusey things.
All the excusey things. Don't do that. Don't blame yourself. If you...
Again, like that guilt and shame, it does not feel good.
No.
It does not feel good. If it doesn't feel good, we want less of it.
What she told herself was he did a better job of negotiating the contract than she did. He's better at that because he's a man and men are good at understanding and demanding what they're worth. I allowed them to pay me less than I'm worth. Therefore, it's my fault. And she's like, don't do that to yourself. And she uses examples of things and how she changed her mindset there. And then don't hold yourself back. There's a study about women applying for jobs and asking for raises and things like that that pay more and things like that. Men are more likely to apply for jobs where they don't meet all the qualifications, where women will only apply for jobs if they meet at least 90% of the qualifications, where men, it's like 60% of the qualifications and they'll apply for the job. And then what they find is that, these qualifications and things like that, a lot of them are made up. Right?
So crazy.
A lot of them are made up. So if you are in a position and you want to raise, you need to ask for it. If you are not happy with where you're at and you're out applying for jobs, apply for the jobs that you are interested in. If you are at least 60% qualified, she uses this example of a gal who applied to jobs as if with the same tactics that men use. And she landed a really great job that she was only about 50 or 60% qualified for, according to the thing, but they liked a lot of the other stuff, right?
She was like,
learn more, right?
Right, a lot. It's teachable.
So don't hold yourself back. Do the things. Do it.
It.
Don't hide who you are, at least not more than you have to. If you're a mom, Put pictures of your kids on your desk. That's real life. We have, you know, kids, we have spouses, we have lives outside of work. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Dads too.
Right? Because, like, seriously.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Both ways.
You know, it's okay to be yourself fully in your work environment.
Right.
And you will find that spot, right? Because what the world really needs is more of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Us being ourselves.
And less trying to fit in a box.
Ooh.
Right?
I
don't fit in a box.
I love exercises.
Oh yeah.
Especially number 2.
Number 1, speak up for your female colleagues.
Yeah.
If you see somebody's being harassed or talked down to because they're women, or not being appreciated, and like maybe they're being
the Marysville Police Foundation is a 501c3 organization to support these areas of the Marysville Police Department, law enforcement, officer wellness, and the community outreach programs.
If we say something,
we look forward to serving you.
You know, we are usually judge ourselves out of saying something. Well, if I say something, then, you know,
I like some of the work you can do around that too, because you can take personal responsibility and notice that, hey, this gal's got some amazing ideas. And like maybe it's suggesting some sort of coaching or something to her to help her find her voice. Or we have conversations with each other like, speak up and louder for the people in the back, right? Like, ooh, deep breath. That was like, you know, and that's how we interact, right? Like to help us learn to use our voice so that it's more comfortable.
Yes.
So when my sister has a good idea, I try to repeat the idea to another sister, so she repeats the idea to the next sister, so that we're all having the good idea.
Right? So speak up for your colleagues. Number 2, don't accept unacceptable behavior. This is where you use your voice, not necessarily to fight back with an aggressive manner, but to protect yourself.
Just be that, no, right? I don't accept that.
No.
Hear it back.
I'm not going to let you treat me that way. I'm not going to let you talk to me that way. I'm not going to let you talk to her that way. I'm not going to let you treat them like that. You know, whatever that is. It could be age, race, gender, religion.
Any kind of harassment. Like because it's the hurting people, right? So when you can see it as that person's hurting, and you just like, no, thank you. You need to go take care of your own ouches. No one's gonna accept that here.
You're right. So don't accept unacceptable behavior, and call attention to it as often as you can. People will roll their eyes. They may accuse you of not focusing on what's important. In these uncivil times, they might even make fun of you. Do it anyway. It's the only way to move the needle, even if it's just a tiny bit.
So true. But it's that daily work and creating that ripple effect.
And I can tell you, this has actually worked on my husband.
You talked about it. You shared it, definitely.
And so I'll call him out. I'll be like, no. You know, I used to let things slide, but after 20 years, it's like, no, I'm not gonna let you talk to me or treat me like I'm less than, because we've been partners for 20 years. I'm not less than shit. No. So I've started calling him out a couple years ago, and I barely ever have to call him out anymore. Like, no, you're treating me like this because you're mad about something else, and I'm not going to take that on me. Like, and I will literally ask him, what are you really mad about? because this isn't me. It's not my fault.
You're not picking it up.
I'm not picking it up.
And when you stop picking it up, it changes relationships.
Yeah.
And they're like,
it changes the conversation, because when you realize, when you don't take things personally, right? We're doing the 4 agreements here. And you realize that their reactions to me is not my fault. I'm just being me. And I am awesome. And they can keep their shit. Then it's a whole different conversation. Like, I'm not going to let you treat me that way. Oh, well, now they have to change their attitude about it or go deal with it themselves, right? So, anyway.
We can't do it for them.
No.
And when you don't pick it up, then they pick it up.
They have to pick it up and carry it themselves. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants more monkeys on their back anyway? Nobody. Right? And sometimes they won't even pick it back up. Right?
Which is fine. Nobody needed to pick it up then.
Anyways, I think it's just a really good reminder this week to reflect on those beliefs that you have about yourself, about your sexual being, and how you allow other people to treat you, no matter what.
Yeah. Boom. That's heavy, and I love it. Yeah. So you probably want to get the yoga mat out, dance it out, or journal it out, go garden, go take your socks off and put
whatever
your feet in the grass.
Do for self-care.
Take a minute for you. We love you.
Give yourself permission.
Not every week will be this heavy.
No.
Right? So, but we keep it real around here.
We do. We love you. We hope you have an amazing week.
Choosing and deciding how you're going to show up.
And how you're going to let people treat you in the world today.
That's yummy.
Don't forget to stay tuned for the cause of the quarter. We love you. Namaste. We take the mystery and pain out of social media consistency for your business, giving you back time to shine in your zone of genius. Social media is the new branding. It deserves its own attention, thought, and effort. Yet so few businesses actually take this seriously and invest enough time on their strategy. We can do it for you at an affordable rate that will fit into your budget and allow you to pursue other revenue channels as well. The hardest part of social media management is keeping up the consistency to be seen and know what to post, when to post. Are you ready to have everything ready to go for you, saving you time and energy by not having to do it all yourself? Still getting your message out so that people get to know you, like you, and develop trust while opening yourself up to more time for the business of your business where you shine. Working with Women in Leadership, BSMB LLP, is a unique experience that bridges the gap from face-to-face to virtual relationship marketing. Not only do we love to help you shine on social media, we love to share tools to help you grow with us, body, soul, mind, and business. Check out our podcast and YouTube channel for Mindset Mondays, Social Media Training Wednesdays, business interviews and special topics on Fridays, and weekly readings on Sundays. To schedule your consultation or podcast interview, head to our website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Our weekly readings on Sunday, our podcast, Mindset Monday, social media training with Heather on Wednesdays, guest interviews, and special topics on Fridays. Thank you for joining us. Find out more and schedule with us online at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. bsmb.com, where you have a spot at the table. Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.